So when we're talking about IBS, if it's not celiac, if it's not a gluten allergy, what are some of the things that can cause IBS? Food, stress?
Yep. Keep naming them.
Okay,
Yeah, all those things.
Life, all
life.
Okay.
We're seeing IBS grow with over 100,000 new cases every year in Canada. And so it's definitely more than just food. Food is really important. Food doesn't cause IBS, but it can influence those symptoms.
Okay.
And so it's just really important that, you know, we don't put it on ourselves and say, well, you know, it's completely stress or it's completely my life or whatever. It is stress, it is anxiety, it is food. There's lots of things that affect it. And usually in my clients I see something trigger it, and you can and that's just an anecdotal story. I don't know if I've read any evidence or research on the fact that, you know, what starts it, what causes IBS, but you hear a lot of anecdotal stories like some stressful event or some travel or something that influenced the balance of bacteria in the gut, like H. pylori, or, you know, going on antibiotics for an extended period of time and not doing a probiotic to help with that. So something affected the body, whether it was stress or sickness or travel or whatever, and that kind of maybe sparked it. Now, that's not the situation with everything. It's just something that I've been hearing more of, and I think when you talk to health professionals, it's something that we're wondering about, and maybe we can do more research on. Most commonly, I think I would see irritable bowel syndrome, which you can see several places will show stats that they think about 5 million Canadians are suffering from IBS. And that's the irritable bowel syndrome with some of those symptoms that I said to you. So it's really, really common, and only 40% of people actually seek out help.
Really? Now, is that because they might not understand what it is, or is it because it's one of those embarrassing things, or you just think, oh, it's part of life, whatever, I'll be fine tomorrow?
I think all of those things, you know, really, and everyone experiences symptoms different. So IBS is a very, very individual condition or individual, you know, disorder, in that, you know, two different people will experience it very differently, and what affects that disorder or that will be different from person to person as well. So for some people, the symptoms are just kind of like, oh, my tummy hurts, you know, and you don't feel like you know, you need or you deserve to go out and talk to your doctor about your tummy hurting. But really, after 2 years of your tummy hurting, and then all these other things start to build and the symptoms can get worse, then, you know, I often see people that have been suffering with things like these for years. I have IBS. I was diagnosed with IBS 6 years ago, and so when I sit down and talk to people, you know, I think it's really nice that I can say I know what you're going through.
I can relate to what you're
Don't worry, I know what you're going through, and I know that it can be embarrassing and uncomfortable, but you can definitely get to a point where you're feeling better and it's not interfering with your life, which it can for so many people. Influence, you know, you were just talking about physical activity a while back. I've had clients that influences them going to play sports.
Yeah, absolutely. Or making your decision around, is there a bathroom there? Is it accessible, right? Will I be able to be out on the field for 20 minutes? Or
exactly. And some people have these urgent bowel reactions where they have to go. So it stops you. I've had clients that don't travel anymore. You know, they stop traveling. So it really can influence your day to day. And I think those are the most motivated clients that will seek out my help right away. Okay, I need to fix this now.
Yeah, I'm going on a trip and
yeah, I need your help. However, there are a lot of people in that middle ground that have the symptoms and are just dealing with them day to day, and they don't have to. There's things we can do to help with that. Basically what I do is I assess someone, and then what I practice is something called a low FODMAP diet. And so I don't know if I can get this whole word in a minute, but it stands for fermentable oligo monosaccharides and polyols. So they're basically they're poorly absorbed sugars.
Okay.
And so we start with those and excluding them from the diet, and then seeing if we can get some symptom relief.
Okay, so it's kind of like a plan that people would be on. They check in with you. And I think with food allergies, and, you know, when we talk about gluten, that is what you do, right? Take away and see how you feel after.
Yeah, it's really hard to diagnose a food intolerance, not a food allergy. And so that's why we can do it with diet, and then we add foods back in and challenge them once you're in a place of symptom relief, and find out which groups of foods do bother you, whether it's just the fructose group or if it's all of those FODMAP foods. So that is the best way, and there is some evidence behind this approach that's growing and growing and growing.